no, this part is not alleged. Jay-Z and his team, they have been ducking and dodging, taking the DNA test.
This is what I look for. When I see a success, I'm looking for anything
to say that they didn't do it on their own?
Detain it, not to say.
Everyone's heard the whispers, the lawsuits, and the late-night rumors that threaten to puncture Jay-Z's billion-dollar shield. But this time it isn't just Rymir Carter's voice against a polished empire. It's a flood of so-called family albums, raw and untamed, each page firing off like tabloid buckshot, threatening to expose what Jay has spent decades burying. This isn't a leak. It's a vault cracked open, a forbidden gallery spilling photographs, notes, and memories he never wanted the world to touch, and with every side-by-side shot screaming about matching jaws, noses, and eyes, the quiet denial playbook starts to crumble. For years, Jay's strategy was simple: ignore, outspend, outlast. But how do you stonewall when the internet is staring at cookout pictures?
Felonies, I'm not crazy and none of that. It's like, I just want the truth, and it's so hard to get it from the courts, and seems like Jay-Z don't want to say anything. So, I don't want to see him go down for something that, you could have just got taken care of.
The stakes.
Handwritten letters, and even alleged court documents tied to dates, addresses, and slang straight out of early 90s New York, all claim to link his past to Rymir's story. The visuals feel less like snapshots and more like smoking barrels aimed at the mogul's carefully edited biography, and even Jay's lawyers asking for tighter seal sounds like panic disguised as procedure. What ignites a fire isn't just resemblance. It's a timeline crafted with precision that refuses to sit quietly in the margins of Jay-Z's myth, each note and testimony threatening to tilt the whole tower of denials. And then there's Beyoncé's shadow, the queen said to be the invisible hand, tightening NDAs, keeping claimants frozen outside the mainstream while her public face beams empowerment. Insiders whisper her influence stretches further than the headlines ever admit, with silence enforced like policy. As their camp stays mute, suspicion grows heavier, fueling the sense that this silence is not strategy but cover. Just as a narrative threatened to lock into another stale round of denials, Rymir drops his ace. This isn't only about him, it's about a pattern. Enter L. Tamur of Maryland, long insistent that she's the mogul's hidden firstborn, armed with DNA claims and Instagram confessions, alleging Jay not only knows but bankrolls her silence with Cambridge home and bills paid under one unbreakable condition: never let his face inside the door. A hidden legacy, a growing chorus of voice.
Weirdo. I don't get no what you got in your head, that neural link. You'll never outthink me. Ever.
Voices, and a billion-dollar brand cornered by its own ghosts. Stay quiet, take the support, and never breathe your truth aloud. Was this the Carter family's definition of peace, or just the price of silence when lawyers couldn't bury the noise? What separates this rumor from the rest is its stubborn refusal to vanish, year after year, always resurfacing with new details that seem impossible to shake. Even May's own sister stepped forward, bluntly admitting she was the one who introduced Jay-Z to Letitia's mother, then later watched the fallout as desperate calls to Rockefeller's headquarters went unanswered when the pregnancy news broke. May insists denial is impossible, not when there were witnesses who knew him, not when the stories keep stacking until Jay's silence begins to feel less like caution and more like a calculated dodge. Court files dance around the core, property records and mysterious payments hang just beyond reach, sealed documents whisper from locked drawers.
Basically, my mom was at a show, and she was with a friend, and y'all know, I guess her and her friend stayed to, after the show, he was doing little signings and little autographs and stuff like that. I guess he wasn't too big, but I guess females, when the show is over, you can sign little autographs and stuff like that, talk to the people who performed. She said she went up there.
And yet we're told it's all baseless. If that's true, why does another chapter always appear? Another check surface, another woman emerge from the shadows? This is why the so-called family album stopped being just photos and turned into cultural dynamite, because Rymir is no longer fighting only for himself. He's drawing straight lines between every silent claimant, every unanswered plea, every scrap of evidence that vanished into confidentiality agreements. He's asking the questions the mainstream won't. How many deals were cut in the dark? How many payouts bought silence? How many lives were edited out to keep the Carter mythology pristine? And above all, if it's all fantasy, if these are just tabloid ghosts, why does Jay-Z still refuse a one test that would end it in a heartbeat? The tension isn't just...
And I'm not saying allegedly.
Oh.
I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough. You just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
Just in the claims. It's in the machine itself. The Carter system built to suffocate scandal, drag cases into endless appeals, hide records, misplace ownership papers, and paint guardians like Strillikili as harassers rather than truth seekers, even as they carry the weight of a mother who died trying to be heard. The empire has time, money, and lawyers, but what it seems to lack is the courage to let the truth breathe. And now with these albums unleashed, the question looms larger than parentage. It's about power, narrative, and who gets a raise from history to preserve a billion-dollar story. Every fresh leak pulls Beyoncé deeper into the shadow, raising uncomfortable questions even her fiercest fans can't ignore. Was she quietly protecting the empire, or is she just caught inside its walls like everyone else? Silence grows heavier, evidence piles higher, and suddenly this isn't Rymir Carter's saga anymore. It's a full-blown legacy crisis, a story about how much denial an empire can buy before the walls start to crack. These family albums aren't just digital grenades. They are mirrors reflecting every accusation that ever hovered around Jay-Z's private life, reminders that the Carter dynasty may rest not only on talent and ambition, but also on a strategy of relentless oppression. With each thread fraying, damage control starts to look more like desperation.
I want you to think about this. Allegedly, Sean Carter is responsible for enacting Hype Williams to put Aaliyah on a faulty plane to move her out the way as punishment for rejecting him, and so he could level up beyond.
And the cold fact remains, paternity claims have haunted Jay-Z for decades, like storm clouds circling but never breaking. Rymir in New Jersey, Letitia in Maryland, stories that rhyme too perfectly to ignore, tales of young women caught in fleeting moments with an artist on the rise, echoes of a past that refuses to stay buried. And then comes a familiar fallout. A mother goes public, a child demands recognition, and instantly the heavy machinery roars to life. The narrative flips on its head. Plaintiffs are recast as stalkers, court filings paint them as obsessive, and the legal gears grind forward to delay, discredit, and dismiss.
Jay-Z got his ass whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You got his ass. The feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped.
The pattern is almost scripted. A photo here, a note there, timelines that refuse to align, and always that unanswered demand for a DNA test, the simplest proof that somehow never arrives. Coincidence, or a blueprint sharpened through years of repetition. The emotional toll is undeniable. You can see it etched in Rymir's tired determination, in Latosha's frustrated Instagram confessions, and in the broken families left patching wounds while lawyers tidy up the narrative. Neither of them stepped forward waving tabloid checklists. Their pleas have been weary, almost resigned, begging for truth rather than fortune. I don't want money or anything like that from Jay-Z. I just want him to finally tell the truth. Rymir sighed, and the exhaustion in his voice spoke louder than any filing. Every denied motion, every sealed record, every unexplained payment leave another scar, another reminder that the simplest question, if you're so certain, why not just take the test, still hangs unanswered, echoing louder with each passing year. For Rymir and Latosha, this fight has never been about ink on a birth certificate or digits on a settlement check. It's about the grinding ache of invisibility, the weight of being brushed aside not only by a father they believe abandoned them, but by a public condition to dismiss them as opportunists. Imagine growing up staring into the mirror.
Never got anything, so why wouldn't I believe my mom? Like, we could have been settled this, and it only takes a conversation and some words, I'm not a hateful guy. I don't hate anyone. I'm not after nobody. I'm not trying to see no one downfall, but this is just some things that just went through court, and they just expected me to just sit there and just take what they were saying. I can't do that, because
recognizing your own reflection, the world's most famous rapper, only to be told again and again that your existence is inconvenient, a problem better hidden than acknowledged. That kind of rejection doesn't fade with news cycles. It lingers like a permanent bruise, an emotional exile that headlines can't capture. Behind every court appeal and Instagram post lies grief too heavy to measure. Letitia describing her mother's decline. The grief braided with rage as she watched secrets consume her family while the world worship a man she believes is a father. It's a grief without resolution, a wound that refuses to heal because the answer remains locked away. What's often missed in the noise is the sheer resilience it takes to keep going. Most would have surrendered years ago.
I don't think they are scared of him. I think they more so, they don't want him to embarrass their reputation and things that they've been known for. You understand?
Crushed by lawsuits, mocked online, erased by expensive attorneys. Yet Rymir and Latasha remain, still pushing forward, still refusing to be silenced. Every filing, every press statement becomes less about evidence and more about protest, proof that no matter how powerful the opponent, erasure can be resisted. It's a lonely fight, but also a living testament to the human spirit's refusal to vanish on command. For us watching, the uncomfortable question lingers. Would we endure the same? Could we hold on when everything around us insists that silence is easier, safer, cleaner? Because this isn't just about DNA or inheritance.
How do you know I'm not a gangster? Or used to be a gangster? I've been in the music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
It's about what happens when influence decides who gets to matter and who gets erased. The scars left on these families are not metaphors. They are real. The price of being branded lies in a world where your opponent can buy silence wholesale. If we are witnessing a reckoning, it's only because those at the center refuse to disappear, even when disappearance would have been simpler for everyone else. And yet, just as the walls tremble, the silence from Beyoncé grows heavier still, a silence that once looked like grace but now, under the glare of these revelations, feels like a weaponized stillness, a choice that shields power rather than challenges it. Context of familiar feel like complicity. A mother goes Beyoncé standing as the untouchable queen whose image remains the heavy machinery roars to life beneath her throne. The narrative flips separate insiders and plaintiffs are recast but a calculated strategy. Filings paint them as because in a world where one stray legal gears grind forward overnight, discredit, saying nothing is far louder than denial. The pattern is almost the result is a public now more suspicious than ever. A note there. Each time a story about Rymir or Latasha and always an unanswered demand for a DNA social media feed. The simplest proof that somehow never arrives. A hidden coincidence, some acknowledgement that she knows sharpened through years of repetition, that she might break the silence, is undeniable. But nothing ever comes. You can see it not etched in Rymir's tired determination, leaving the question in Latasha's frustrated serene composure, an icon of the final broken families left patching wounds while lawyers tidy up the narrative. The sting in that question runs deep waving tabloid checklists. It's about power itself, being weary, about who gets to write the record and who gets to raise rather than fortune, about whether we are witnessing a love story or anything like that from the world's most polished. I just want him to finally again and again. The Carter camp demonstrated a mastery of disappearance. His voice spoke louder critics than any outmaneuvered by lawyers. Every denied motion, stories dissolving every sealed record. Every
just about me. If I gotta fight for all of us, I will. But I won't let the court systems just walk over me. I won't let Jay-Z and I won't let no one just walk over me and tell me something because y'all just saying this. I want the truth. And if we can't go to the Supreme Courts, the regular courts, to find out the truth, what are they here for?
Yeah, all right. We'll get to the legal things that you've been through, the battles, but before.